Welcome to Networking Unleashed Building Profitable Connections, the show where conversations stop being polite and start creating opportunity. I'm Michael Forman, and today we're tackling one of the biggest reasons people leave business on the table. They have a network, but they're not using it well. My guest today helps professionals make small changes in how they communicate that lead to more referrals, stronger partnerships, and better opportunities without working harder or talking louder. We're diving into how to explain what to do so people actually remember it, how modern networking really works, and how relationships turn into long term growth when you approach them with clarity and intention. If you've ever said, I know great people, I just don't know how to get enough for my network, this episode is for you. So let's jump in. I would like to introduce to all my listeners Dana. Dana is a great networker from North Carolina, I believe, and she has her own group out there. But I don't want to really bastardize her background, so I'm going to give you over to Dana. Dana, welcome to the podcast, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Michael, for having me on the show. I'm really excited to be here. So, a little bit about myself. I founded the group Charlotte Networking Knowledge in 2024. We're a local group for business owners here in the Charlotte area. I also am a networking and client visibility and acquisition expert for businesses. So I help you gain more referrals and double your sphere of influence and get more clients through networking. And my strategy is not just networking, it's leveraging your current network, finding those strategic partnerships, and also posting organically on social media and connecting with your network that way, in addition to hosting your own events and speaking engagements.
All right, that sounds great. That sounds great. It sounds right along the lines of what I do for a living. So that's why I couldn't wait to get this podcast started. Okay, I have a series of questions that I'm going to ask you, and just give me your answers and just let's see where it takes us. Most people have a network. They just don't use it well. Where do you see professionals leaving the biggest opportunities on the table?
So I think a lot of people aren't asking their network for support, advice, or help. And I think this is important because you want to have a network where people support you. I believe in having a network where people will actually help you. Now, not saying that someone you meet at a networking event for the first time, they don't owe you anything. But if you have a professional relationship with someone, you've been going to the same events for years, but you've never reached out for advice or help, how can they help you if they don't know what you need? Also, another mistake is not having a one-to-one with folks in your network because you might consistently see them at a networking event, but it can be busy and distracting, and you might not be able to remember exactly what they do, and they probably don't remember exactly what you do. So it's really key to have a one-to-one with everyone in your network at least once a year, even more often if possible. So you stay relevant to them and they know exactly what you need and you'll be top of mind for referrals. They can't refer you if they don't understand what you do, who you're looking for, and who you help.
That's great advice. What would you say to somebody who has a huge following? Let's say I have 10,000 connections on LinkedIn. How many people should I keep in that close sphere of influence to have those one-on-ones or keep them in top of mind to network together?
So I think there's some different levels to the type of relationship you have, but I do agree that 10,000 followers or 10,000 people in your network, that's too many to realistically be close to you, because I've had one-on-ones and they go nowhere. So it's important to really strategize your time. So you have one-on-ones with folks who are in a similar industry or an adjacent industry where there's synergy, and their clients are similar to your clients as well. So you guys are working with the same clients. So I think it's important to narrow down how many people you're actually close with, because like followers don't mean anything. Like these could be like robots online or something, but or just folks you've never met in person. I know a lot of people will follow me on LinkedIn or send me a request and I'm like, who is this? But I think it's really important to have at least 10 people where you're seeing them consistently, like once a quarter, and in person is definitely the best way. So I'd say have 10 people in your network you see once a quarter, and kind of go from there. If you want to call other people and try to add, but it's really important to nurture your current relationships because trust takes time, and you can't get a referral from someone who doesn't trust you. So it's a process. So I would say focus on your current connections, try to nurture them. And if you have time for other connections, add them. But you want to make sure you're giving adequate time to each connection.
There is a mantra in networking. If they know you, if they like you, if they trust you, then they'll do business with you. And to know me or to know you, that's a wide circle, right? But to like you, that narrows it down a little bit because everybody doesn't like you. You have to just face facts. But know you, like you, trust you, that's the important part. Because if they don't trust you, they'll never do business with you. So you always have to keep that in mind. So
Yeah.
you talk about small shifts in communication creating big results. What's one simple change that immediately increases referrals and introductions?
So I would say when you're meeting someone for the first time at a networking event, when they say, "Oh, what do?" You explain it, but you want to have a catchy phrase, something like if you're a financial advisor, you don't want to just say, "I'm a financial advisor," because that's boring and they don't, there's a million of you. And that's not to be rude or negative, but there's billions of people in the world. So there's millions of people doing exactly what you do. So you need to make your value proposition very clear, like what separates you from your competition, and also who you work with as well. So that's really important because like you can have a financial advisor for businesses or retirees or young families. Like, what exactly do you offer? So, being specific about who you work with is going to be key to getting more referrals, because they might say, "Oh, I actually know a retiree." But if you just say, "I'm a financial advisor," people will say, "Oh, okay, what does that mean?" Especially folks who aren't in your industry and don't understand your industry jargon. That's very important to say who exactly you serve and make it clear for anyone to understand what exactly that is you do.
Very good. Very good. And so when somebody asks me what I do, and I do a plethora of things, I just very quickly say I'm a networking strategist. And they say, what does that mean? I help you increase your money, increase your profit margin in less time narrowing in what you do, what you say, and everything else. And that usually leads into other conversations, but I give them just enough so they ask me questions. And I think that's what your whole goal is, to have the other person ask you those questions so you can delve a little bit deeper into it.
Yes, and I will add to that point. I think that's really so true. And one mistake I see is when someone asks you, "Oh, what do you do?" And then you respond. And then immediately after you tell them what you do, you say, "What about you?" They were trying to figure out what exactly you do, but now the focus is back on you and you got to think of what to say. So it's hard to have a conversation about what you do if you turn it immediately back to them. Now, I think it's important to learn about them, their business, and that way you're going to build rapport and trust and, yeah, get them to like you. But you can't put all the focus on them. The focus needs to be on you as well for a little bit and your business as well. So I think some people in networking, they say, "Oh, you have to make the focus all about them." No, that's not true. I don't believe that personally. It has to be about you as well.
Okay. Why do so many capable people struggle to explain what they do? And how does that confusion cost them business?
So I think they don't adequately explain what they do because, for the most part, they're not looking at it from a third party. So if I say I'm a networking coach, I know what that is, but someone who's like new to networking, they might think, "Oh, what exactly does that mean?" I get it. You're a coach, but like, how exactly do you coach people? How exactly do you advise them? So it's really important to think about like how someone who's not in your industry, how they would respond and understand. So typically your referrals and your network are going to come from people not in the same industry as you, because that could be competition, but there is like collaboration, but really your referrals are going to be from people outside your industry. So it's really important when you're practicing your elevator pitch, you could ask someone outside your industry to, what they think, and make sure that what you offer is crystal clear to them, because that's why I think there's so many benefits of a networking coach, because I have clients who are bookkeepers, financial advisors, business lenders, and it's hard because they're in there, they think, "Oh, I know what that is. I do it every day. I don't need to explain this." But sometimes you need to even simplify what you do so everyone has a crystal clear understanding.
That is true. And really, the most important person to understand what you do is you, right? You have to, people can't exactly explain what they do in its entirety because they're like a shotgun shell, they're all over the place. When I coach my students, I always have them first, we figure out their 30-second elevator pitch, right? I have them lock that down. Then I have them take the 30 seconds down to 10 seconds.
Mhm.
They say, it took me so long to do 30 seconds. You expect me to do 10? Yes, do 10. And as soon as we get that hammered down to 10 seconds, I say, okay, now throw it out. Now, what do you mean? Because now you know exactly what you're going to say. So let's work on that. And we work on that. So, you don't sound robotic. You don't sound like this is a canned response. You're being yourself, authentic self. Authenticity is thrown around like a very common buzzword, but it's so true that your authentic self has to come through, because if the person doesn't believe you, then it nothing's going to work.
Yeah, that's so
Okay.
true about being authentic. I'm a big believer in being your true self at networking events.
Yes. When someone says, I don't get referrals, what usually what's usually missing from the way that they communicate with their network?
So typically, there could be a few reasons why you don't get referrals. So I think the main reason is, have you been reaching out to your current clients and letting them know about, I have some additional openings this quarter. If you have anyone else who would want to prove your networking skills, I would love to help out. So just, I think letting people know that you have some availability is key. And also serving your current clients very well, doing such a good job that they're going to want to tell you and tell they're going to want to tell other people about your services naturally. So it's really important. You want to go above and beyond for your current clients because they're going to be your best referral source, in my opinion, because they know your work and they've experienced your work. And also letting them know, just asking them if they have anyone else who would be interested. And it's not a pushy thing, but there's nothing wrong with asking. I think a lot of people don't ask for referrals. So I'm a big believer in, you don't get what you don't ask for. So you need to ask for what you want. If you want more referrals, ask for it. And also in your network, are you having these one-on-ones, multiple one-on-ones with the same person? Are you making introductions for them? Are you referring them business? I think another way to get referrals is to refer other people business, because natural, and it's not supposed to be so transactional, but really, I do think you can't be asking your network for referrals. Like, what are you going to do for them? You need to do stuff to help them as well. It needs to be a mutually beneficial relationship. And it's not like tit for tat in that nature, but you should be consistently going out of your way to help your network grow their business by offering introductions, giving them advice or support where needed, and also just asking them, hey, I have this new coaching program I'm rolling out this quarter. I have a few slots left. Wanted to see if you know of anyone who might be interested in joining, and just go from there. I think it's really important to have those relationships, and also that your network needs to understand what you do exactly and who you're looking to connect with as well. And one last thing I'll add is trying to find your strategic referral partners. So, folks who work with the same type of clients, it's good to partner with them. So, it's a natural referral source.
Yes, in this area, I'm known as a connector. I'm actually referred to as a super connector because
I
I
love that
make
feeling.
sure, yeah, I love to make sure that I put two people together, one that needs each other's services, and I step away. I don't look for anything for myself. I put the two of them together and say, go ahead. But I know in the back of my head that each one of them say, oh, you know something? Michael referred me to this person. I better give something back to Michael. So if I think about that without even thinking anything's going to come back to me, if I just connect two people, I know it's really going to come back to me. So that's a good way of doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think, yeah, it's important to get that good karma flowing in the universe. And I think eventually, if you're going out of your way to help your network and make introductions, it's gonna come back around one way or another. I think it's important to have a few, like at least 10 people you see consistently.
Yeah. And what you had said before about referrals, about asking for referrals, you're never, once in a while, somebody will feel magnanimous and they're going to refer you. But if you haven't asked for your referrals, then you're really leaving a lot of money on the table. And so I do that in my coaching class. I coach them on asking for referrals, but I too ask for referrals when the class is over. When I realize that's when they're the happiest, I ask for the referrals because they're more likely to give it to you. If I wait 2 days, a week afterwards, the peak has gone and they're not, oh, yeah, that's Michael. Okay. But I always ask before it's over because that's when it's like when you buy a car. You're always so happy. Oh, yeah. You start to see that same car all over the place because you're in the mind for it. So the same thing, you're going to be in the mind
Mhm.
to hire a coach. Okay. What does it sound like when someone finally gets clear about their message, and how does their network respond differently?
So I would say it sounds like you're getting people to engage with what you say for your elevator pitch. If you say, I'm a financial advisor, a lot of people aren't like engaging with that. Like it doesn't give them much to work with. So I think a good measurement is to see what kind of engagement are you getting back after you deliver your elevator pitch? Are they asking open-ended follow-up questions about what you do? Like you mentioned, you're a networking coach and people are like, tell me more. Are people asking to the listeners? Are people asking you? Are they saying, tell me more when you deliver your elevator pitch? Are they saying, is it kind of basic things like, oh, what kind of company or what company do you work for? That's not an open ended question. That's a closed ended question. But really, if they're showing interest by asking open ended questions after you deliver your elevator pitch, I would say that's a good sign that your elevator pitch is very clear and it's intriguing to them.
It's very intriguing and it's very interesting. And when you begin to network properly, I should add, because if you don't do it properly, you're never going to enjoy it. But you're really going to have fun. You're going to enjoy networking, enjoy going out and meeting with people because you're networking properly, right? In modern networking, attention is short and trust takes time. How do you build relationships that last beyond the first meeting?
So you gotta have your one-to-ones. And this is so key. You need to be having your one-to-ones if they seem like a good connection for you. Now, you don't need to have a one-on-one with everyone you meet at a networking event. I think people need to use their own judgment and see who would be a beneficial connection for them. But you have to have those one-to-ones and continuously have those one-to-ones, like once a quarter with solid folks in your network. Also, it's so important to get involved in, I'd say, two networking groups, and you'll see the same people consistently over and over again. And that's a good way to build trust because by seeing them over and over again, they're going to like you more, they're going to know you more, and then naturally they're going to trust you more. Even if you don't think you have things in common with them, you're like, oh, hey, Joe, hey, Dana, how, like, you'll recognize their face and they'll be a familiar face to you, and naturally you'll talk to them more. Also, another modern networking strategy is to add them online as well. So you want to connect with everyone you meet on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram if you have a professional Facebook and Instagram, because that way they will see your posts in their feed as well. And it's another way for you to stay relevant and top of mind. And I think folks need to be the one, you have to be the one to add them on LinkedIn and Facebook on Instagram, because I'm sure as Michael, a lot of people don't follow up.
That's true. And half of my workshops is follow up, right? The follow up is, I would say, the follow up is more important than actually meeting the person because it's the way that you follow up is how much business you're going to get from them. And if you don't follow up properly, then you probably won't get their business at all. You have AI nowadays, you have different ways that you can promote yourselves on social media. I'm different. I use a program called Opus Clips, and all my podcasts and things like that, I post on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram 4 times a day.
Wow.
4 times a day. And you know how long that takes me to do it? Less
A
than
long.
5 minutes. Less
Oh,
than
okay.
5 minutes.
Wow.
That's what Opus Clips does, right?
Hmm.
So it's amazing because it takes your podcast, it clips it up into different pieces, and you get to post it whenever you want. And you see what social media platforms you want to post it on. I happen to subscribe to those. Oh, I also subscribe to X, Twitter, right? So when I post one item, it automatically goes out to Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, right? So if I do it 4 times, 4 different clips, I could do all that in less than 5 minutes. So I'm using and this program to do what normally would have taken me a half an hour or 45 minutes. So I get to do other things. So it's just on how you structure it, but it's very important because nowadays, all the networking you do can't just be face to face. It's in social media as well.
And also because folks are busy, they don't have time to meet with you once a month. I think that's a little unrealistic, especially in like Atlanta or Charlotte traffic.
Yeah, yeah. Forget about Atlanta traffic. It's no good. Okay. What habits turn casual contacts into real partners over time?
So I really think getting to know them and trying to offer value to your contacts, it's so important because no one wants to be sold. Don't sell them anything. Focus on providing value, and eventually they're going to provide value back in some way or a partnership. But it's really important to think about what you can do for them either today or in the future. Keep an eye out for their ideal client. And if you could refer them, definitely try to refer them, make introductions, and really, yeah, focus on providing value to them. And that I think that is going to help people turn those just a phone number into a real, genuine relationship. It's like a friendship. There's in dating apps and also like they have Bumble BFF. I've met some woman on Bumble BFF. Like I get their number. I've met up with some, but like you're not going to have a good friendship if you meet the person once. You need to see them consistently and be there for them in multiple ways. And the same thing for any type of relationship. So be there for them, congratulate them, and reach out if you hear a post on LinkedIn where they had an achievement. Give them a call or text them. Also, invite them to networking events you're attending. So it's not like a one to one, but you can still see them.
I learned a line which I usually say in all my workshops and my coaching and everything else. People love to buy, but they hate to be sold to. So if you think of a car dealership, do you want that salesman to come up to you and say, "Hey, how do you like this? Oh, this is a Chevy Tahoe. It does this, it does that. It's great. Let me show you this. Oh, no, let me show you this." Okay. And it's all over you and trying to show you and sell you and everything. Or do you want the salesman to come up to you and say, "Hi, I'm Michael. If you need any help, I'm right over here." It's a different mindset. But this is America. People love to buy things. They just hate to be sold to. So if you keep that in the back of your mind, you go a lot further. Okay.
Absolutely.
Where do professionals unknowingly make networking harder than it needs to be?
So folks make it harder by just thinking, oh, I got to attend all of the events, every event, happy hours, breakfast meetups, lunches, afternoon events, and also they're just driving everywhere across the city. Like for folks in major metro areas, that's unrealistic to attend all the events. So it's really best to get involved in 1 to 2 groups and be very active in those groups. So stop trying to go to all of the events because also I think a lot of people make a mistake of just going to the free events and, oh, I'll go to the free events. I'll go to all of the free events. But that attracts folks who may not be as serious to building their professional network as those who are willing to invest their hard earned money in a membership based group. So, free events are fine, but if you find consistently you don't see the same people over and over again and people can be flaky, you might want to consider a paid membership group because some of my events, I've hosted free events and a lot of folks just don't come back. And it's just because they're just like doing all of these events and they don't have any buy in or commitment. So I really think you should invest your time into groups where other folks are just as invested with their time and their money to build their professional relationships.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more. Think about the most successful connectors. What do they do in conversations that others don't even notice?
I think in their head, they're a matchmaker. They're trying to, their mind is churning. They're like, oh, yeah, I do this. And I'm like, oh, I actually know someone. Like, their mind is churning with people they already can connect you to. Even if you haven't even said who you want to connect with. I'm like that. I'm like a matchmaker for networking. I love to connect people to other folks who they might benefit from professionally. So, a keyword for a super connector is let me connect you with X, or I can introduce you to X, or would you like me to introduce you to X? It's very important to offer an introduction.
I often say, would you like me to introduce you to this person through an email? And I'll go online and I'll put everybody's email address and I'll say, Dana, this is Michael. Michael, this is Dana. Dana, this is a networking expert. And Michael, I believe you need her expertise. You guys take over from here. And I let you converse.
Mhm.
So I've introduced you, I've given you each other's contact information without me even trying to promote it. And I am able to step away. And I'm usually about 80% successful in having people take my lead. Because if I invited them, that usually means that I vetted them and they're pretty good at what they do. So that's one thing. Okay, let's bring this full circle. If someone wants their network to truly work for them this year, what belief do they need to let go of first?
They need to let go of the belief that these people should be referring me clients immediately. And also adopt the belief that people you meet at networking events, they don't owe you anything. They don't owe you clients. They don't need to be your client and they don't owe you any referrals. Stop like thinking of it so transactional. Think about developing relationships instead of getting business. Because I know, and I was there too. Like when I was younger, I was like, oh, I was an office leasing agent. I was like, hey, do you guys want to renew or relocate to our office? And I mean, I did close deals that way, but I really got the most deals by, being consistent with my follow up and talking to the same people over and over again. So really focus on providing value to them and don't force anyone to a meeting. We talked about no one wants to get sold. Don't force a meeting. You can ask if they want to set up a meeting once, but if they don't want to, just drop it. Don't force anything. And I'd also say adopt the mindset of focus on relationships that bring you happiness and mutual benefits.
Nina, I have to tell you, this was an enlightening podcast. I love hearing about how other people network, especially someone with your background. You've created a networking environment and you're passing it on. And I love that. If one of my listeners was listening and they wanted to get hold of you, how would they do it?
Thank you. So if anyone wants to reach me, you can follow me on LinkedIn and send me a message there. Dana Alfirevic. My name is in the screen here. Also, you can send me a message on our Facebook or Instagram, which is Charlotte Networking Knowledge. And you can also visit my website, which is networkingknowledgeandgrowth.com.
That's the
Happy to
difference.
help
Oh,
with if anyone has any follow-up questions or just wants to talk about networking or needs some support and encouragement, feel free to reach out. I'd love to talk.
that's the difference clear communication makes. Not louder, not busier, just clearer. If something you heard today shifted the way you think about your network, don't wait. Use it in your very next conversation. Say what you do with confidence, ask better questions, watch how quickly doors start opening. If this episode gave you value, share it with someone who's building their future one relationship at a time. And make sure you follow Networking Unleashed, building profitable connections so you never miss a conversation that helps you turn connection into momentum. Michael Forman, and remember, your network already has what you need. The only question is, are you communicating it clearly enough for it to help you? Dana, thank you again for coming on the podcast, and I will speak with you soon.
Thank you so much again. And thank you everyone for listening.
Well, hold on, folks. Don't go anywhere. Let's hear from our sponsors. David Neal, co founder, Revved Up Kids. Revved Up Kids is on a mission to protect children and teens from sexual abuse, exploitation, and trafficking. They provide prevention training programs for children, teens, and adults. To learn more, go to revvedupkids.org. Henry Kaplan, Century 21. When it comes to making the biggest financial decision of your life, leave it in the hands of a proven professional, Henry Kaplan. Henry is a global real estate agent with Century 21, celebrating his 41st year in business. No matter where you're moving, Henry has the right connections for you. You can contact Henry at 561 427 4888. A huge thank you to our guest for sharing such incredible insights today. And of course, a big shout out to you, our amazing listeners, for tuning in and spending your time with us. If you're interested in my digital courses, being coached, or having me come and talk to your company, just go to Michael and fill out the request form. Remember, networking isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. So take what you've learned today, get out there, and make some meaningful connections. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who could use a little networking inspiration. Let's keep the conversation going. You can find me on Apple, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, or my website, forman.com/podcasts.